Snow was falling softly on the quiet street on Christmas Eve as the city looked calm and cold. The road was empty and only small lights from houses showed life around. An elderly man named Ben walked slowly beside his wife, May, while holding her hand tightly. Their steps were slow because their bodies were weak from long walking. They both carried sadness in their eyes, even while trying to smile. They had only one small bag with them and their coats were not warm enough. The cold air touched their faces and made their skin feel stiff. Ben tried to stand strong even though his legs were shaking. May stayed close to him because she was scared of the cold. They kept moving forward even without knowing where to go. Earlier that day their family had left them behind and did not look back. The street felt larger and colder after that moment. They did not have any home to return to now. They had hoped to find a small shelter before night came. But the shelter was closed when they reached the door. The lights were off and the door was locked. May felt her heart drop when she saw it. Ben tried to knock but no one answered. They stood there for a long time not knowing what to do. The wind made their coats move softly. Finally they walked to a nearby bus bench. The bench was cold and covered with a little snow. They sat down slowly as their bodies were tired. May leaned close to Ben to keep warm. Ben wrapped his coat around her to protect her. The sky was getting darker and the night was close. Christmas lights shined far away in warm houses. Music could be heard in the distance. But the bench felt silent and lonely. May looked at the road with tired eyes. Ben tried to speak but his voice was weak. He told May that everything would be fine. May nodded even though she felt afraid. Her hands were cold and her fingers were stiff. She held Ben tighter for comfort. A police car slowly moved through the street nearby. Inside the car a large dog named Rex was sitting. Rex was trained to watch and protect. His eyes moved across the street carefully. He noticed Ben and May sitting still on the bench. Rex felt something was wrong about them. Their bodies did not move much. Their faces looked pale in the cold. Rex let out a soft sound. He wanted to get closer to them. The officer noticed Rex and slowed the car. The car stopped near the bus bench. The officer opened the door. Cold air rushed inside. Rex stepped out into the snow. Rex walked slowly toward Ben and May. His nose touched the cold air. He smelled their tired clothes. He could feel their weakness. His heart told him they needed help. Ben looked up and saw the dog. His eyes were tired but kind. May also looked at Rex. A small smile came on her face. Rex sat in front of them quietly. The officer walked closer and knelt down. He asked if they were okay. Ben tried to answer but his voice was low. May held his hand tightly. The cold was making them weak. Rex moved closer and sat beside them. He pressed his warm body near their legs. The warmth made May feel a little better. She closed her eyes for a moment. Ben looked at Rex with soft eyes. Snow kept falling around them. The street stayed quiet. Warm homes were filled with light in the distance. But Ben and May were still sitting outside. Rex stayed close to them. The officer saw how tired they were. He knew they had been outside too long. He looked at Rex and nodded. Rex did not move away from them. He wanted to protect them. May slowly opened her eyes again. She felt a little warmth from Rex. Ben also felt it. They both felt less alone. Rex stayed still like a guard. The officer took out his radio. He asked for help. He knew these two people needed care. Rex kept watching Ben and May. His eyes were full of concern. Snow continued to fall gently. The cold air moved around them. But Rex did not leave their side. This night was not over yet. Something important was about to happen. The officer stayed beside Ben and May while the cold wind moved around them. Rex remained close to their legs like a warm shield. May slowly started to breathe easier because of the warmth. Ben kept looking at Rex with quiet hope. The dog made them feel safe in the dark street. The officer spoke softly so they would not feel scared. He asked where they had come from. Ben tried to answer with a weak voice. May helped him by telling their story. They had no place to go for the night. The officer listened with care. His face showed concern for the old couple. He looked at their thin coats. He knew they could not stay outside. Rex stayed still as if guarding them. The radio made a small sound in the officer's hand. He spoke into it, asking for help. He asked for a warm place for the couple. Rex lifted his ears when he heard the sound. He stayed close to Ben and May. May started to shiver again. Ben held her hand tighter. Rex gently moved even closer. His fur touched their cold clothes. May felt a little more warmth. The street was still quiet. Snow kept falling slowly. Lights from houses made the snow shine. But the bench stayed cold. The officer knew they had to leave soon. He stood up and opened the car door. Warm air came out of the car. Rex looked back at Ben and May. The officer gently helped them stand. Their legs were weak from sitting. Ben slowly moved toward the car. May held his arm for support. Rex walked beside them carefully. The officer kept the door open. The warm air felt good on their faces. May smiled softly for the first time. Ben also looked a little better. They both sat in the back seat. Rex jumped in after them. He sat close to their feet. The car door closed. The warmth filled the inside. May let out a small breath of relief. Ben leaned back slowly. Rex stayed alert beside them. The officer started to drive. The car moved through the quiet street. Snow touched the windows. Lights passed by outside. The couple stayed warm inside. May rested her head back. Ben held her hand gently. Rex looked at them with calm eyes. He did not move away. He was happy they were safe. They arrived at a small station. The building had warm lights. The officer opened the door. Rex stepped out first. He waited for Ben and May. The officer helped them out. Their steps were slow but steady. Rex stayed beside them. They walked inside the warm building. The air felt much better. May smiled at the warmth. Ben looked around slowly. The room was quiet and safe. Rex sat near their feet. He stayed close like a guard. The officer brought warm drinks. The cups gave off steam. May held her cup carefully. Ben took small sips. Rex watched them. They felt life coming back into their bodies. Their hands were no longer stiff. May felt calm again. Ben felt stronger. Rex stayed happy beside them. The officer sat near them. He wanted to make sure they were okay. May thanked him softly. Ben nodded in gratitude. Rex looked proud. Outside the snow kept falling. But inside it was warm. The couple was no longer alone. Rex stayed near them. This night was changing their lives. But something even more special was still waiting. Rex was about to do something no one expected. Ben and May did not know it yet. The officer also did not know. The story was not finished. The room felt calm as Ben and May sat with warm cups in their hands. Their bodies slowly felt more relaxed. Rex stayed close like he always did. His eyes never left them. He knew they were still weak. The officer talked gently with them. He asked about their past. May shared small memories. Ben nodded slowly. Their voices were soft but steady. Rex listened quietly. He could feel their emotions. The room was safe, but their hearts were heavy. They had lost their home. They had lost their family. The officer felt sad for them. He wanted to help more. Rex slowly stood up. He walked to the door. His ears lifted high. Rex started to make a soft sound. The officer looked at him. He wondered what Rex wanted. Rex moved his tail slowly. He wanted to go outside. The officer opened the door. Cold air came in. Rex stepped outside. Snow touched his fur. He started to walk forward. The officer followed him. Ben and May watched from inside. Rex walked toward the street. His nose moved in the air. He was looking for something. Rex walked past the building. He walked down the snowy road. The officer followed carefully. Rex kept sniffing the ground. He was very focused. Rex suddenly stopped. He stood still. His ears went up. He found something. The officer came closer. It was a small bag near the road. The bag looked old. Rex gently touched it. He looked at the officer. He wanted him to see it. The officer picked up the bag. He opened it slowly. Inside were small papers. They had names on them. They belonged to Ben and May. There were also old photos. The faces were young. They showed Ben and May many years ago. Rex looked at the photos. He wagged his tail softly. The officer felt surprised. He knew this bag was important. Rex stayed close to him. He was proud. He had found something special. The officer took the bag back inside. Ben and May looked at it. May gasped softly. Her eyes filled with emotion. It was their lost bag. Ben held it gently. His hands shook. He looked at Rex. He smiled with thanks. Rex sat proudly. May opened the bag. She saw memories. Photos from their past. Small things they loved. Her eyes filled with tears. Rex watched her. He felt her emotion. He moved closer. He placed his head near her knee. She gently touched his fur. The officer felt happy. Rex had helped in a special way. Ben and May felt hope again. They were not alone. This dog had changed their night. Outside the snow kept falling. But inside was warm. The couple held their memories again. Rex stayed by their side. Something more was still waiting. Their story was not over. This night still had one more gift. Rex had more love to give. Ben and May would soon know. The world felt kinder again. The warm room felt peaceful as Ben and May sat close together. They held the small bag that Rex had found for them. The memories inside made their hearts feel full again. Rex stayed near them quietly. His eyes showed care and loyalty. The officer watched them with a gentle smile. He was glad Rex had helped them. Ben slowly stood up. He walked closer to Rex. His hands were still shaking. Ben placed his hand on Rex's head. His touch was soft. Rex looked up at him. May also moved closer. She smiled with warm eyes. They both thanked Rex in their own way. Rex wagged his tail slowly. He felt happy inside. He knew he had done something good. The room felt filled with kindness. The officer spoke about a warm place they could stay. He said there was a small home nearby. It was safe and quiet. Ben and May listened carefully. They felt relief in their hearts. Rex looked at them as if he understood. He knew they needed rest. The officer helped them prepare. Their small bag was safe with them. Rex stayed close. They walked outside again. The snow was still falling. But they did not feel afraid now. Rex walked beside them. The officer led the way. The small home had warm lights. The door opened slowly. Warm air came out. Ben and May felt comfort. Rex stayed beside them. Inside there were soft chairs. There was a warm place to rest. May sat down with a gentle sigh. Ben sat next to her. Rex lay near their feet. The officer spoke with kind people. They welcomed Ben and May. They gave them warm blankets. They gave them warm food. Rex watched happily. Ben and May felt safe at last. Their bodies slowly relaxed. Their hearts felt calm. Rex stayed near them. He did not leave. May looked at Rex with love. Ben smiled at him. They both knew this dog had saved them. Without him they would have been alone. This night had changed their lives. Outside the snow continued to fall, but inside there was warmth and light. The couple rested peacefully. Rex stayed close. He was proud. The officer came to say goodbye. He knelt beside Rex. He thanked him quietly. Rex wagged his tail. He had done his job. Ben and May waved at the officer. They felt thankful. They knew they would never forget this night. Rex stayed with them. This was his gift. The night slowly passed. The snow softened. The world felt gentle. Ben and May slept peacefully. Rex stayed awake for a while. He watched over them. He made sure they were safe. He was not just a dog. He was their guardian. This Christmas Eve had brought hope. A story of kindness had been written. A dog had changed 2 lives. Ben and May would remember Rex forever. Love had found them in the cold. And their future now felt warm.